we are live on Instagram. We are live on Facebook, I think. Okay, we're just gonna go with it.
Let me get on Facebook and see.
Yeah, Michaela just joined. I think we're gonna be okay. We're on Instagram.
Yep.
Oh,
It's
Deanne's
on.
watching.
It's on.
Okay, all right, we got it. All right. Hi guys, how are you?
Hello, Crystal.
All right, you guys, tonight, this is uncharted territory for us, and for many, many reasons, but we're going to go with it. First, streaming.
We're up.
Go turn that down, please.
I got it. Don't
You
worry.
got it? Can you find it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I'm
Okay.
gonna watch the genius.
All right. So, streaming, you guys, we will probably have bugs. So, please just work with us and not hate us for it. And also send us questions. Shauna and I are going to be monitoring questions, and we will get as many questions in as we can. Mom is going to just discuss current events, how it's affecting us, and she's going intuitively. And so she's just going to go with the flow, and she's just going to give you guys what she gets intuitively. And so keep your questions in thought, and make sure that you ask questions when she is ready to take questions. Okay? I don't know if there's anything else I want to add, because like I said, guys, this is all new territory to us. So let's see how it goes, and we'll learn all of this together. How's that? Perfect? All right, guys. Here's Cindy.
Hi everybody, I'm excited to be here tonight. My voice is a little bit weak, but there's a lot of things I need to talk about. Everyone in the universe, every country, everywhere are all really worried about what's going on globally and universally. If you read scripture, it talks of this. The Mayan calendar, when it ended, it talked of this. And that's when I said it was the end of time in the Mayan calendar. It was in the end of time as they knew it. There was no more writings of it. If you read the Bible, last days, that's a scary thing and a scary thought, but it really isn't. Are we going to go through some stuff? Yes, and we'll get to that. But the scriptures are written, and that's why everybody interprets what it said differently, but we're actually in that time right now. Do you all agree with that? And that scares people because you think it's the end of time. Well, it is the end of time as you know it, but it's the beginning of a new time. And it's going to be rough, and I say hang on to your ass, because we're going to go through some things. But these things are all survivable. What's happened since the beginning of time, humanity has always taken and destroyed itself. From the very beginning, we were very advanced, and now today we're very low-minded. We actually are coming to a time when it's bringing up our mental brain, rising our vibrations, and we've talked about, right, raising our vibration and raising the planet. That's happening as we speak. So as this all takes format and begins to happen, we're all going to have a bumpy ride, because it's no longer about one person, it's about oneness of all. That means everything globally, universally, everything. So when this all started, it was supposed to start in 2020. Some people predicted 2025. Myself, I believe 2025 will be through the worst part of it. But we still have some things to go through. So it just started. And if you look at 2020, when it came in with a roar, with everything that's going on. And it's not going to slow down until 2023. But there is grace in that, because once you understand that a lot of the creation of fear is causing a lot of other problems, you can stop the fear. Now, I'm not saying that people that are losing their jobs and illnesses are happening and globally terror and fear of everybody falling apart, that's not going to stay. We're going to have a new structure. Within 6 months, you'll see things get a little better. On a global scale, it's going to be longer than that, because we have to go through volcanoes and earthquakes, and you've seen that already happening. And so what it's doing is it's shifting and burping, and she's breathing again, and the call of oneness is happening. Oneness is all things. Humanity has forgot their way. We all forget. We have our nose to the grind. We're all wanting to collect more, work more. We've forgotten who we are. One. Everyone is one and the same. There is no separation. We have separated ourselves in multiple ways. And so in order for us to get back to the oneness, we create, not God, we create our own demise. God is not fear. Fear is based on human emotion, and fear encompasses everything. And so when you fear the loss of your job, fear is just every human ego emotion. And in fear, you lose light, which is God. So when we have light and we have light service, we're able to connect, receive, and understand that this is a moment in time that is actually a grace. It's a time for growth. It's a time for new things. It's going to be a better world because we're not going to have the haves and the have-nots. It's going to be where we all reach out to each other and everyone starts to understand it's a global shift. And in that global shift becomes peace. Because we all understand, once again, as we did in the beginning, that we're all one and everything works together. When man first walked on earth, we all shared all things. There wasn't anybody that didn't have the same. It was never like we're trying to destroy or outdo the other. But as we create and we grow and we become motivated by fear, then we act in fear. And we create all the animosities, pain, struggles, and destroying of one another's lives by fear. With this happening, you're like, well, we're in the biggest set of fear we could ever be in now. It's global fear, but it is fear of what you don't understand. When you see and you feel that the end of time is here, you're all scattering, fearing, you're going to lose your homes, it's coming to an end. No, what you're going to see is that we all pull together, and everyone starts uniting. And I had a doctor call me today and tell me that in all the demise of worrying about losing their clinics and all of their medical, I just lost my train of thought, losing their medical businesses and not being able to sustain and do what they need to do, they're all out playing tennis together in the street. The neighbors are all getting together and hiking. She says it's that they're playing tennis together and they're cooking for each other. So in the worst scenario, what are they doing? They're coming back to the oneness. Well, they showed me that as this expands and grows, it's like everybody links hands across the globe and become one again. That's not going to be an overnight thing because right now, the censuses were blaming each other for what happened, country to country. Realization in the grand scheme of things, it was man-created, it was man-released, and now it is the beginning of a shift. Something had to take place because we were getting too far gone. Would you believe in that? Do you agree with that? And so in understanding that that has happened, you can understand that there had to be a shift. So in that, in the next few months, things are going to change financially, globally, personally. I feel like there's going to be, and this sounds really bad, there's going to be a lot of disasters in relationships. A lot of people are not going to be able to sustain staying together with all of the gloom and doom and pain and suffering. There's going to be a lot of challenges financially. There's going to be a lot of businesses that go out. There's going to be a lot of people that can't even open a door or close a door. They're in such grief and sorrow and pain. They have no way of seeing past that doorway. But in that, there will be a coming together of the governments. And in the governments, you'll see that things will change. Everyone may not like Trump, and he is not the most elegant gentleman, but he's got a reason for being there. And I was shown by Michael, the arches, that he will be protected because he has a great mission to do, although they want to destroy him. And so that being said, and I don't want to get into politics, but that being said, he's where he needs to be. And there's others in order that will need to go because this can't be stopped. And so in a global way, there's many in the other realms, angels and many other beings that are helping this go forward. So it isn't just us alone in this. There's massive others that are here helping us to attain and receive and grow to a higher vibration. Many of you have been with me for a long enough time to understand the vibrational shift and what's happening to Mother Earth and that she's actually being awakened. But did you know that you are as well? And so if you haven't had, which you should be, but most of you should be having nightmares and stress and stomach aches and just generally feeling like you're kind of going crazy. Well, that's you shifting on a vibrational level. Mother Earth, she's going to be doing all of her typhoons and her hurricanes and all of the storms and natural disasters that have to happen and for her to do the same thing. And she's actually getting to breathe with all the pollution down by stopping the work. So on a bad scale, there's also a good scale. What do I see? I see that in 3 months from now, we're almost through the first quarter. Second quarter is going to be bumpy too. Third quarter, we're going to start coming back in the stock market. Business is going to start coming back. It's going to be a gradual shift. It won't be the same, and it won't be the same people, because same businesses, because it's being filtered out. Does that make sense? Things are changing for a reason, and the reason that they're changing is just like I said, it's a new day, a new world, and a new time. And if you look at the scriptures, it talks about this. And so it's just understanding them on another level of actually you're living in it. Is there any questions?
Not yet.
So everybody wants to know if the economy is going to come back. We're going to be a rough water in the economy for 2 years. Yes, it will come back, but it's going to be a gradual up and down, a decline and a rise, because we have to reestablish a new institution. We have to change the way we think and the way that we operate in government. We have to understand that in order for us to have all the things that we bitch about and all the things that we dream about, sometimes you got to shake it up for it to work. And so we're in that whole process. In the days before, when you look at time and space, what I've seen is that man has destroyed themselves. And every single time, Atlantis was more advanced than us. They were super advanced beings. And they could accomplish a lot of things that we just barely are starting to realize we can do. And so we are backwards, but we had, every time we stupefy ourselves and stumble, we have to start over. In this time, I think the awakening is enough, and enough people are spiritually based and belief systems. It doesn't matter your religion, because we all understand we're one, and what we're going through is a unified shift for all mankind. So it isn't the end of us, it's the end of the way that we know it. And it's a betterment for all of us. If we can just get through understanding that. My biggest message tonight, and that would be stop the fear as much as you can. Thoughts are things. Energy-based is things. So when you feed into the fear, whether that's you have enough freaking toilet paper or whatever that may be, you're just feeding a mass energy out there that is globally happening, that is Panamanian, and it's ruining people's lives. And it doesn't need to happen. If everybody pulled together and everybody knew and understood that you have to sense what other people need, then you're one. Because there really is no separation. There's no separation from us, from every element on earth, because we're all made of the same thing. We're all made of 90% water. We're connected to that. We have to breathe the air. We're all a part of earth and all elements. And so it is all being brought together. Any questions? I don't know where to go with that anymore.
Brett says you're amazing, but that's it so far.
I'm back up, by the way.
Okay.
Are you guys worried about the economics here?
Yes.
Okay. So on the economics here, the basin was always is been the downfall in the state, and actually when everybody else is doing good, we're still not doing well. And I have been the cheerleader of that for some time. But with this happening, we're in the worst state than anybody else is, because we're double whammied. We were already slow, and then this. But I don't know how to ensure or guarantee or present to you, other than listen to it later, but you will see that I'm right within 6 months, that things will turn around and things will get better. But we're having such major changes with oil and gas and with everything that's gone on outside of our country, and we have someone standing up and saying it's time to bring it in our country and work for our people, and that will happen. You'll see a change. What's super important to me is for people to understand that if you all unite and you all start helping each other, and it doesn't matter what you have, whether you make bread or you just check on an elderly person or whatever, this virus will pass. And speaking of the virus, I believe that the virus has already came through here. If you all think about being sick in December through November or December, January into February, y'all had the upper respiratory. And so, I saw that, and what I saw was it came in from China and Russia area into Washington and down the coast. So it came in on the west coast and across the U.S. And if you look at it, it shows it on the map of how it's moved. Your wetter climates, it's staying longer. But it came in like that, and so it's staying in Washington and California and New York, because those are wet areas. were drier, so it went through us faster. So I thought, I need to prove that to myself. I know that, but I need to prove it. So I called doctors and nurses and talked to them, and they said, yes, we believe it's already came through here, and they didn't know what it was. So people that were very sick with pneumonia or they had some kind of flu symptoms, they tested them, and they didn't test for flu. They didn't know what it was. I believe it was this. And so I believe it's been through, and don't fall into this fear factor that's on the internet, and they're saying, because I think it's a bunch of bullshit, but they're saying that the next strain's coming through. So, it's going to hit again. No, it's not. They sent out one. This is a new way of war. And so you can't see it. And so it was designed and it was put out there, and it's a new way to, but what cracks me up is they were stupid enough to affect themselves. It went global. And I said that it was airborne within a week of it being said, and then they find out that it's airborne. So it's pandemonium, and it's fear, and it's disaster, and it's every bad thing you want to make it be. Or you can go, okay, follow the rules, do what you need to do, and understand this too shall pass. And we're almost through this. It's getting warmer. But will it go away? No, I think it will always be like polio or something like that stays. I don't think it will ever go, but I do believe that there'll be 4 vaccines for these, because it moves and changes. What do you call that? Yes. And so they're going to have different formats for that. But if you're living in fear, I believe it's already been here, and so does the medical community. The medical community has told me from the Wasatch to here that they're not worried about the medical situation. They're worried about the economics of everybody being so scared. Everybody's so scared, we just stopped the world. And in stopping the world, it's a curse and a blessing.
I have 2 questions. One.
In speaking of fear, we have somebody that wants to know, how can we work through fear, earthquakes, isolation, etc.?
Okay, earthquakes are super scary because you can't predict them. And this has been something that's been known for some time. And there were 4 to happen, and there'll be 2 more. And they will be 6 months apart. So you're 6 months out on more. But these are all moving and things that have to happen, because that adds to the change on Earth. There isn't anything you can do about that except to be aware of and pray about it. Prayer is the greatest tool, because that's connecting to the oneness, and that is a positive thing. Instead of sitting in fear, I'm like, oh my God, it's going to have another earthquake, or, don't do that. Put out positive thought, because I've always known, and this may sound crazy, but when I do a reading, and many of you have been to me, when I do readings, I'll say to you, you can make this a bump. It has to happen because it's written, and every single thing that's happening right now is written in the scriptures. But we can make it a bump. And so by making it a bump, an example is my son. I knew for months he was going to be in an accident with a trailer when he was working for his dad. I knew he'd be in an accident. So every day that his dad came home, I'd be like, is David okay? Is David okay? Because I saw exactly what would happen. And he'd say to me every day, I wish you quit worrying about it's not going to happen. So I would just say to God, please make it a bump. It ended up happening. He came home one day and goes, okay, don't be afraid. Don't be scared. David's okay. And it happened exactly as I saw it. But the trailer held the truck, and it was a bump. We have to let the natural order happen. But if we prayed in unison and we all agreed to be on prayer chains and put out positive ideals and energy, it'll still happen, but it'll be less than. That's controlling fear. Fear is the worst thing there is for humanity, because it destroys our confidence and our belief systems and our structure.
Go ahead, Shauna.
One of the questions is the self-quarantine what we need to do?
Yeah, I believe so, because even though it's already came through here, people are traveling all the time. And so someone could be back east and come back here, and someone that hadn't been exposed to it could be exposed to it. So yes, I do, but I see this over by the end of April. And that's just a safety net. I think we wouldn't need to do it 2 weeks into April, but I think for us to go to the end of April, all is well.
And then the other one I have is, will people make runs on the banks? Do we need to have cash on hand?
No. I did that, but we don't need to do that.
We also got the do we need to stock up on TP.
All right, before this ever happened, and my kids can attest to this, I always do a New Year reading from my family or friends, And in the New Year reading, I told them that we will be quarantined for 3 weeks, and you're going to need to stock up on your toilet paper and stuff, just so you have enough for 3 weeks. Does that sound like you need to go and buy a truckload of toilet paper? I said 3 weeks, and guess what happened? But they extended that, because some areas it's staying. But we really only needed 3 weeks.
Okay, will people... Oh, Shauna asked that one already. What about animals? Everyone is freaking out that their animals are going to get it from what I've heard and seen.
I don't believe that. I do think that there are certain cases where animals have been too connected in areas that have the heavy virus with people. But as a rule, I don't think you need to worry about that. But I do want to say something about animals. If you pay attention to animals now, they're super sensitive and they're very alert and they're almost more human acting. Have you noticed animals are like upgraded? their abilities, their emotions, they're communicating more human-like. They upgraded before you did. Their vibration already allowed, because they're not negative. They don't live in fear. They don't carry human thought. And so that they're just pure light of God, they've already advanced. And they're teaching you. Animals are amazing to me right now, across the globe. Yeah, that's all animals. Down to birds. Everything seems to have, they're almost human interacting. It's amazing to me. You should watch animal videos. I mean, from what a horse did before to what a horse is doing now, or a dog, it's amazing.
Oh, sorry, my head keeps getting in there. How do we help others not be scared?
Well, I think that it's groups, like I said, prayer groups, pulling together, becoming one. You know, when someone, well, you do groups for grief, and you do different groups. Why can't you do groups together of this, like minds with like minds? Get together in groups and prayer groups and different types of positive reinforcement and help each other. You can't do it sitting in your living room. You need to help out. My phone never stops ringing.
Meditation.
Meditation's a great tool.
Hey, Samir. He says wonderful.
Hello, Samir and our little family in India.
All right, guys, keep the questions coming. Kind of realized a little too late. We are live feeding off my personal Facebook page. Sorry about that. Missed Namaste. Huh?
You are replying to everyone.
I know. I see that. It's like
Chelsea,
Crystal.
ask me a
Crystal.
question. You have a lot of
But I did post on Namaste's that it's on my personal.
not on the personal side, but
Did you already ask for Samir?
did you have a question?
Samir wants to know how long this will last.
It's going to be up to 2025, but the really rough hang on to your ass is till 23.
Arturo would like to know, what do we say to our kids?
That's so important. That is a good one.
Good job,
Children-
Artero.
Children are not naturally a fear. We create fear in our children. So what do you think this whole flippin' everybody at the end of times is doing to the kids? You should be teaching children what was written. And what was written was that this is a time of change. Now, it depends on what religion and how they change the scripture. But if you teach them that this is a new world, a chance for everybody to get back to oneness, it's a new, you can make it a better thing. Talk to them on their level and tell them that it's not the end of the world. It's people don't understand. They're running in fear. You don't need to be a fear. Learn meditation, learn light, learn about God. Express those things to kids so that they have hope. Because they can't have hope when you're scared. They depend on you.
You have anything, Crystal?
No.
Okay, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's see. Do you have any direction on how we can diversify the area for income?
No, not right now. It's with everything being warped up and down, there is no settling yet. The government's trying their best to get some subsistence out and help people to have a little bit of help with financial, but as it sits right now, no, you gotta go the course. And I wish I could say, but everybody's we're all in the same boat. No one's different. We all need to pull together. The best advice I could say is to try to unify. I know that you have the whole quarantine thing, but that doesn't mean you can't reach out to your neighbors. That doesn't mean you can't try to find something to bring peace, comfort, and life to people, happiness to people, and not this gloom and doom.
Shauna actually sent on Instagram, how long is the panic going to continue and the quarantine?
The panic will continue as long as people stay in fear. Until something makes that change and people realize it's not the end of the world, it's going to stay that way. That's why it takes people in all communities to be of light and to bring joy. And somebody's got to balance it. People follow people. Look at what happened. I mean, somebody needed toilet paper and then...
This is important, Misty. Hey, Misty. She said, I remember her saying over a year ago that this major shift was on its way.
Well, we're full blown in it, sis, all the way.
Misty out in Ogden.
We're in it all the way.
Okay, we have one that says, he's wanting to know on gatherings, is it really bad that we not gather as groups, or is there a limit?
Okay, if you're in a group and you're around that same group, you've already exposed each other if you're carrying it. So if you add people, the law of the 10 people, I get that, but if you're around 10 people all the time, add 10 more. Does that make sense? Because you've already been around each other, so. You're immune to them already. Yeah, and so it's okay to add, but I wouldn't do a lot of people because you don't know who's been where, exposed to who, until I told you in mid-April, end of April. And then to hell with it.
For those Lacey's on here, Lacey Semper, she says she does try to explain it to Lily, what is happening, but she wonders if she's too young to understand it. Should she just kind of keep it to herself?
She should just kind of keep it to herself. She's just a baby.
Mm-hmm. And then Bobby is asking, so to my understanding, the virus is only the beginning of change. How long will the virus part last?
Well, because they're engineering new illnesses, I think they'll just continue. I think that now the purpose behind medicine now and science is to engineer vaccines for this type of viruses, because this is a new weapon. This is a new unseen weapon. It's not a bomb in your backyard now. You know what I mean? This is a new way to take us out. And so they're engineering that, and that's where this is going. You can no longer look at the world as you knew it.
Sean, I have an Instagram one.
Okay, I have 4 after you.
Okay. If we are able to build the vibration across the nation, will this shorten the time that we are in chaos, and will it make it more of the bump you're talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So if you get on the news that an earthquake is coming, or if you wake up to an earthquake, you can make it a bump. I can tell you there's a huge one hitting Utah. I've known about it for 20-some years. So when I heard this, I was like, they just said on the news that they're going to have it. Yep, they're going to have 3 more. And so they had 4 out there already, right? But these were just baby bumps. So, yeah, we have one coming that's going to come all the way from Nevada all the way across the state. They did tell me that the bear will sleep. Who do you think the bear is?
Yellowstone.
Mm-hmm. If that one wakes up, we're all in trouble. We all get to go home.
I'm heading south.
But they tell me that angels watch over and keep the bear sleeping. So everywhere else around him is active. And if you do anything with science, if you do any studying on the earth plane right now, all the plates are moving. They don't understand. Science does not understand why every plate on the planet is moving. We all know. We've known for a very long time. It's part of the new world. It's part of the second coming.
I bet you don't know who this question's from, but it's an important one for me to send because it's been put up here. Can I have a cool $1 million to get me through this?
Shut up, Larry.
How did you know? He just sent me a text and says, how come my question's not being read?
It won't matter if you have 1 million or 10 million or 20. That doesn't matter anymore. Matters is one. I was told though that the stock market is at the lowest it will go. There is a bottom in the stock market, and we've seen that coming now for 3 years. And so the stock market is as low as it'll go, and it'll start rebounding back. Yes, it will.
Go ahead, Shauna, because I have a couple more too after that.
Okay, Vanessa Wynn is asking, her son McCoy has an autoimmune disease and it scares her. Is there something to keep him safer?
He's young enough, and he's healthier than she thinks he is. Yes, he does have this, but I don't see him getting it. So I'm telling her, no, he won't get it, but I would keep him protected in public with a mask. He's not going to get it.
The next question, I think you kind of answered Samir's. He was asking how long this shutdown will last as we know it today, and you kind of just answered that. So, another question is, what do you mean it will be bad until 2023? Please elaborate.
Oh, I'm doing fear. Okay, well, don't fear this. It's the natural order. But there is all types of natural disasters. More in the order of what Earth is doing do you worry about than what man is doing. So a lot of things. She's moving, burping, changing, reawakening, re-becoming the Garden of Eden. I saw mass beautiful gardens, people growing gardens and feeding each other. And back to when it was beautiful, peaceful, there was clean air. That's scary to all of you because that means everything you know is gone. But it's a gradual change to where you'll want the more wholesome things. You'll want all of this goes away. It's like I tell people all the time, if you're chasing money, you'll never get it. Guess what's happening? Because everybody was undercutting it. Everybody. The bigger guy needed to be the bigger guy, and I'm talking country to country. Everybody had to be bigger and better. Somewhere along the line, they had to implode themselves, and that's what you're living in. But we're stronger than that. U.S., they showed me U.S. is the strongest country on the globe. The reason that it is because we pull together. We aren't ruled by one thought. We may all come from different walks of life and different religions, but we have one God, and we all know that, and we all go to one place. And so in understanding that, we unify, and you see that. You saw it in 9/11, but then they forgot. And so the thing with us is we get back to our normal lives, and we forget about others. And in that, we have chaos and misery and loss of life. But this time around, it's going to change everything. And it's almost like from when Adam and Eve first left the garden and there was a whole different life for them, it's a new life for us. And we're building it from the ground up. But it'll be a better world. And if you can look at it in a 5-year window, that's not so hard. And you're all like, 5 years, I'm going to be broke and not have anything, I'm going to lose my business. No, things will come into play for you. You need to say to yourself, okay, Cindy said, I'm not going to be wrong. Cindy said, give it 6 months. So give it 6 months. 6 months is not a long time in your life. You can start cutting back now. You can start making changes in your household where you can do with less for 6 months. Right?
Oh, you're going next. Okay, go ahead.
Teenagers seem to be suffering more from depression and isolation. What can we do? Oh, did we already do that one?
No.
No.
Oh. What can we do to help them express themselves?
This is where I'm going to say community. This is community because suicide is somewhere written. The majority of suicide has to do with fear and insecurity and loss of understanding. In this situation, this is community. That means that we all start pulling together. When there is no information, they have to scramble to figure it out. Where is the worst time in your life? When you're a teenager. When you're a teenager, you fear everything because you don't know what tomorrow is. It's you're upside down, sideways, and you're a know-it-all, but you really don't know anything. It's community. And so in order to save the children, you be beside the children and you unite. You find things to do with them, things to unite them. Remember, the quarantine's not much longer, but you have to watch for depression. You have to watch for keep them active. You know, talk to them about this stuff. And I'm going to still come back to meditation. Meditation is amazing. Prayer is talking to God. Meditation is listening. And children are naturally connected to light, God. And so in that, they can pick it up when you can't. You can meditate for years maybe, but children are quicker, faster because they're still connected.
Go ahead, Sean.
Okay, I think that this listener or joiner person, anyway, got on after you already answered this. I'm just gonna put two of her questions together, and you can kind of really quickly hit it again. But, she says, is there more underlining what's going on than meets the eye? And then she says,
Yes.
a lot are saying China brought down the U.S. without a bullet. Is this true?
I just kind of said that.
Yeah, I don't think she was on.
Yes, yes, in the sense that this is the new bullet. The viruses are the new bullet. This one has already changed 4 times.
Okay, Lacey Lang is asking about the oil prices. Are they as low as they'll go?
No, I think we gotta go a little bit lower. And I know we should be at rock bottom, but I think we're gonna go a little further, but then it's gonna shift. Trump has ace up his sleeve. He's got something going on that's gonna save the economics of the oil. He's brilliant, even though he's an ass.
It just looks like a shield. Okay, so Brett Roush is asking, is there any help from the government with assistance for businesses affected by this?
Yes, that will happen.
And then one last one, Crystal. Joylyn Sutton, is it safe to send my daughter to college this fall? She is full of fear. She's very unsure what to pursue anymore. She says thank you.
Yes. I'm not sure the school systems will ever be the same. I think they're going to have to restructure that as they will the governments. All main ways of life, as we knew them, will all eventually shift. You're going to see things completely different. What you're doing now, like doing drive-ins and doing on the internet and all that, that's going to become more the norm. It's not going to be as accessible to stores, and that sucks. But it really is taking a change in a format of shift, and so you need to know that, because it's going to be more presentation for them to look at and receive than to go in. Does that make sense? That's all shifting. So every format that you know, every structure, every ideal that you've had is being changed.
Is the rumor of martial law going to happen?
Hell no. U.S. won't put up with that.
I think this may have been answered, but with all my craziness of trying to figure out where we were on. Oh, no, I'm sure it was. Do you think the virus was man-made?
Yes, and you know what I see it as? Civil war. When we fought amongst ourselves in our own country, and the death and destruction and chaos and of trying to win a stupid war that, you know what I mean? It wasn't a united, it was, no war is stupid, but you know what I mean? It's kind of like that in our own country now. We're warring amongst ourselves on something that we can't see. And so everybody's in great fear because you're fighting an enemy that you're not aware of where it's at. Yes, it came from there, but it'll be something that is the new way of weaponry against all of us. And we will have solutions to it. It is never allowed for U.S. to fall, and it is never allowed for us not to be able to be first in the care of our people. It's written in the Word of God that the country will always stand. Doesn't mean we're not going to get battered and stuff's not going to happen, but you remember in the last days it said wars and rumors of war? What are you at? Yeah.
Crystal, do you have any?
No.
Okay, Shauna Davis, my baby is due in a couple of months. Do you foresee any problems with this virus in pregnant women?
Not in her, but in the just of some pregnancies in some areas, yeah. And that's kind of sad, but it's true. She's fine.
Roberta. So going back to the basics, growing our own food, showing love and compassion to all.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And stop the fear. And that's impossible to fully stop the fear because you've got to feed your kids and you got to make the mortgage. But there will be things that will come that will help us through that. But you need to understand that fear is such a global thing, it stops everything. It stopped the economics.
Cindy, could you touch a little bit on faith?
Faith is huge. For me, I live in faith. If I didn't live in faith and believe in what I know, I wouldn't be who I am. Faith is the most important tool of humanity. Whether that is you believe in Catholic or Mormon or Christian, or whatever your faith is so important because it saves lives. Everybody needs a belief system, and honoring and respecting faith, and we should all respect each other's faiths. It's a oneness, back to being one. And if you understand that it's a greater picture, and we're just here for a moment, then you can understand, and that's walking in faith. I think I'm the greatest example of faith, and I think Matt would tell you that, is because, or my kids, because I believe in what I know, and I have faith in what I see, but that faith is kind of hard to hold on to, right? And so I have my days when I question myself, but I always get corrected. If you meditate, and you learn to meditate and connect, your faith will explode. Because everything is known to you. An example, when you have a dream, and you see an angel, you have an experience in a dream, and you see an angel, and you wake up and you have that really good feeling, or you know that you had a spiritual moment of whatever that is, that's faith that there's something more than this, right? We all need that. And so community is also a way of faith, whatever that is. Like with Father, I talk to Father all the time. Father Albert, still my priest. So I talk to Father, and I'm like, hey, Father, how do you believe in that? Because that's not going to happen. It's going to go this way. And I'll be like, no, Cindy, I don't think so. And I'm like, I know it. I believe it. And it happens, and he always says to me, you have the best faith. Faith is built. I don't think anybody's just born with faith. I think faith has to grow in you, but I think you have to do the tools to grow that. Does that make sense? But without faith, Becky, I don't think anybody can make it. That's such a strong human need, is faith.
More important than ever. Right
I
now.
wish I could touch people, and I've always said this for years. I wish I could touch people just for a moment and they could feel what it is like to be me. And their faith would be so vast that they wouldn't question, and then they would teach someone else. And Jesus told me one time, he said, little one, if you touch one person, because I used to be so scared, still scared to do this, but I used to be so scared when I do my readings, and I'd be like, what if I'm wrong? What if I say the wrong thing? And he said, you can't as long as you listen. And so I learned how to listen. But he told me, he said, if you help one person in a group, that one person can change multiple lives. So it only takes one. Have faith in that. Having faith can move mountains. It's true. But faith is a personal thing. My faith is different than yours. I would love to give you my faith, and you can't rock me on it. And it took a long time for me not to be rocked on it. So I think, does that help? I think it is actually a very personal thing. But I think your faith, when you give it to someone else that's down, someone that's sad and has no hope, you give them faith, and that builds your faith. It's a chain reaction.
And that's what we really need right now.
Yes. Yes. Why can't we unite on the internet like that? Why can't we unite in groups so we can't be together to be together? But why can't we unite like this and have inspirational things said?
Because life freaks me out.
Not me, I'm good.
Larry?
No, he had another comment, and he was bummed he missed your last one. But
I have a couple serious ones when Larry quits bombing us.
Are people going to accept that thoughts are things and be more open to meditation and energy work now?
Yes. For 22 years, I've been doing my work. And for 20 years, I heard that one day you'll be the norm. One day people will see and experience and know. And I see it every day. When I do a group of people now, there's 3 or 4 people in there like myself. It has become an open window That's the vibrational shift. And you don't have to do anything to earn it. It's just naturally happening to you. Michael's all around you right now, by the way, Archangel Michael. He's all around you. You've been asking, huh? You've been praying.
Is there any way to help kids stuck at home with abusive parents?
Well, when you have abusive parents, then you have this economic and the situation, and you got a bonfire. There's only prayer that can happen. You know what I mean? And that's the greatest tool. Prayer moves mountains, changes all things. Children need that. You have seen many things happen on prayer groups. They're real. It really works.
You want to go ahead, Shauna, or you want me to ask my next one?
Go ahead and ask one more. I'm responding to someone.
Okay. Is there anything holistic that will help with the virus?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So, if you start having symptoms, you're not, but if you start having symptoms, you need to take 10,000 units of vitamin D. That builds the immune system. So you can even start taking that now if you're feeling like you're getting a cold or something, 10,000 units of vitamin D. Also 10,000 units of vitamin A, only when you get sick it'll help you through it. Also vitamin C up to 10,000. I take that in levels which your body can handle because vitamin C can be very hard on you. And the other one is, I have a holistic doctor that called me as soon as this virus hit. Cindy, we need to take care of you, so this is what you need to do. Phosphorus. You can get it at a health food store. They're little tiny pellets. If you start feeling sick, you take that, 2 pellets to that, and it kills the virus. And she told me that, and a week later it was on the news that China found out phosphorus is killing the virus in the hospitals. So get that at a health food store. But only take it, and I think she said 30 cc's is all you take a day, so it's very strong, but it kills this virus. Also, thieves kills this virus.
That's Young Living, for those of you who do not know.
So that'd be on the forget Tara. There are people that still.
It works. Matt and I are doing the toothpaste, the mouthwash, the lozenges, everything. Thieves kills it on contact. So you can, because if it gets in your mouth, and then what happens, it gets in your mouth, if you can kill it there, then if you don't, it goes to the stomach, then the stomach kills it, but you try to kill it here. But, it's an oil, but you can get it in every, Crystal can help you with that.
It smells amazing too.
Yeah, I clean with it. We use it for everything. But it kills that particular virus. Seems like there's one more. Isn't there one more?
Yeah,
It should be.
some like.
Advertisement.
Oh, well, you asking me about a question?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Shauna, do you have another question?
Yes, I do. I have a couple. Will medications such as insulin still be available through the hard times?
No, medical supplies are very low. That's a very huge concern. Medical supplies are very low, and there are some meds that I'm really kind of fearing and worried about. They're trying to restructure, but the demand is so high. That is something that is a concern.
I have a question.
Okay.
What about ibuprofen? Because it's like all over the place. Like if you get the symptoms, do not take ibuprofen because it makes it worse, or
It can feed it.
it feeds it.
Yes. It feeds. It doesn't even affect the fever. Don't take that for that. Do what I said.
Okay.
Do the holistic route.
Okay, Cherie wants to know, curious of what you think about Sylvia Brown's prediction in 1981 that there would be flu-like symptoms epidemic that would hit our world.
This is it. We're right in the middle of it. She predicted the 2020 shift. She wrote about it. She knew about it. She was an amazing psychic medium, a great teacher. However, she got global and became very worldly and lost some of her abilities. But when she wrote that, it's all true, just like Nostradamus.
I have another question from Vanessa. She says, I'm trying to have faith. I had a traumatic event happen to me and family recently. I have been diagnosed with PTSD. This to me has intensified my anxiety, so is medication the best thing to help this, or is there anything else that can help with it.
I wouldn't go chemical, I would go holistic. And by the way, Vanessa, everything is okay. He's all around you. He's been with you for a while. He wants you to know he's sorry because it put you into this situation, but he needs to speak to you. And anytime you're ready, I'm available.
Two other people, Roberta and Shelley, are asking if we'll put the list of the holistic stuff Mom mentioned on mine.
Yeah, Lacey just shared it too, but we'll put it back on. We'll put it on Namaste's and not necessarily crystals.
And I just heard an angel just said to me, all is well, children. All will be fine. Heaven and earth are great and divine. People are strong. Words are weak. The angels in heaven will help you seek. And all of the things you pray to become are the light of the world, and they're all in one. So join hands and rejoice in love, and peace will reign on earth with love.
You got it, or do you want me to?
You go ahead, because I wasn't sure if I should.
Why am I having, this is from Deidre, just so you know who it's from. Why am I having the question in my head, what is my purpose? Very strong question.
Well, I think everybody has that right now. The world, as you know it, is shifting. And so I think everybody has that. And that's part of the vibrational change. You need to pay attention. And like I said, meditation. Only you can reach within the knowledge that you're getting and receiving by listening.
How are our angels on the other side feeling / helping us through this?
Well, anytime, if you understand God is unconditional, there is no negative. God has no fear. He has no negative. There is nothing of God that is punishment. God didn't do this. We did this. Well, why didn't God stop it? Because you have free will. God is the Father of all things. And so he mourns that. And, of course, it's just like you when your children, they showed me, when I was listening, God showed me that I'm the breath with you. And do you think that I want to watch you cry? And he showed me that when you're on your knees and you're crying and you're sad, he simply blows the wind upon you and encompasses you in his love. He's all loving, compassionate. There is no negative. Negative comes from a human emotion. It's not of God.
Brett wants to know if there's certain foods to stay away from for the time being.
Not that I know. Be wise in what you eat, though, because you want things that will stay, because it's low. Perishable items you need to not waste your money, be careful with. But this is almost through, guys. It's not forever.
Should I be worried for my husband and I to enter the medical field this year once my family moves?
No. I feel like that situation is vastly moving quickly. We can't lose our medical community. That's our army within our country. And that's the salvation of us all. Angels won't allow that. And when you asked me what angels, I think part of your question was, how do angels feel? You understand that everything was written before it happens. And so it's already documented. They're already prepared. They're already knowing what's going to happen and what we need. They're here for us. If you could see angels, you'd realize that this room is fuller than it can be. It's expanded beyond this. They're with us always, always, everywhere, in all time and space. Never are we alone. They do their duty with love.
Is the basin going to get through this as far as with the earthquakes?
Is what?
Is the basin going to get through this as far as the earthquakes go?
Yes. We'll feel it, but not. Believe me, we're going to feel that one, but it's not going to, it's heading the other direction. But we'll feel it. Let's say I don't want to be there when that happens. They can take down the condo.
Do I need to stay away from my grandma during this time?
that's common sense. You know, if you don't feel well, I would wear a mask. I would, you know, keep your distance. Don't even risk them. Just don't risk them.
Okay. All right. I think we're gonna come to a close. Moms, do you have any final?
I'll speak here.
Maybe I should ask you this though. I have two.
Okay.
Misty wants to know, what about Ogden and the quakes?
All the way through.
And is this going to be as bad as the Great Depression?
Yes and no, not as long. This is a short-term cycle.
Okay.
Can you touch on one more thing really quick?
Sure.
Something to the vibration. How do we lift the vibration to help get us all
Prayer.
through this?
What we're doing, the rosary, all of the prayers that we're doing, bring up that vibration, unified love, sending out. When you feel sad and depressed, if you just literally think of yourself as pure light, like Christ holding the light in his hand here is actually the light within the soul. Just imagine your whole being lit with light and send out unconditional love. Vibrate on unconditional love. It changes the frequency on earth. One person can change hundreds and hundreds of people's negative thoughts. One person praying heals mountains of negativity. It's been proven. They've used it in water. They've used it in experiments. True. So you're not insignificant, because one thing that you do can vibrate and heal a lot. They actually did a test from Hitler in the area where all that happened, and they all went there and they prayed, and they could feel the vibrational shift of the plants and the water and everything through prayer. It's a big deal. It's not people, and well, how do you pray? And everybody thinks there's a format, and we have a lot of format in the Catholic Church. There is no format. You just talk to God. You just ask for global peace. You pray for the children. You pray for humanity. That covers it all to bring that vibration up, unconditional love. I want to say something though on a spiritual level. When God created, he created light. When he set us free, he gave us sight. He opened the door to heal within, and he gave us the power and strength within. He never failed to walk with us. We failed to see him because we get lost. But if we look inside and we hear within, God is holding everyone within. Remember that. We never walk alone. When I get feeling really sad, I'm like, I'm so sad, I'm so lonely, I'm alone, I always hear, we're all right here. They're always right here. Your son has been with me since before you came, and he says to me, it's really, really important that you tell them that I love them, I'm really proud of them. You guys have had some really economic problems, but your stress level, you seem to kind of have an understanding, but you're getting it with him and understanding that he survives and he goes on and he's still all around you. He'd like to be able to have a reading with you, but he's very much here, very happy, and he says to tell his brother, keep moving forward.
Okay, you guys, we are going to close at this point. Thank you for being with us and
Keep sending your questions.
sending in your questions. Yes, and we would love to do more of this. If you're interested, send me messages on Instagram or Facebook. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.
You've gotten likes from pretty much everybody that joined, just so you know.
We need to be more